Thanks for joining us on Laying the Wood. Hall of Famer Rod Woodson, I'm JT the Brick, and we're excited. It's championship weekend, NFC, AFC Championship. We got the Denver Broncos hosting the New England Patriots, and on the other side, the NFC West. We'll get into Seattle and what they have to do to beat the Rams. But Rod, we got to begin. Good to see you again, and I got to get into some Mendoza mania. You went to Purdue. You're not an Indiana guy, but at least the Big Ten.
Go Big Ten.
The Big Ten.
Go Big Ten. IU can't say anything about it.
3 years in a row for the Big Ten.
Yes, right.
How about that?
Everybody talks about the SEC and how dominant they are, and they do have great athletes. They do. But the Big Ten, they show up. They show up when they have to show up. And you show up in the playoffs, in the college football playoffs, and you get to the championship and you hold the trophy. Those are the teams, and that's the conference that you want to say it should be one of the best conferences, which it is. Mm-hmm. And I think they've proven, those guys down in the SEC are big and fast, but the Big Ten football is a good brand of football.
Absolutely. Now, as you know, if you don't know, we host from Las Vegas. Raiders have the #1 pick in the draft. I'll never say anything's 100%, but it's 99% Mendoza. #1 pick to go to the Raiders. I think it's a done deal. I would hope it would be a done deal, but you never know. I'm all in on Mendoza because I saw him make every throw. I saw the grit. He got better after winning the Heisman Trophy. Better, which was great. He had the signature touchdown run. But you're not 1,000% or 100% sold on him.
I'm not. And I like the skill set. Can he be? Most of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL today can move, right? In some capacity, they can get in and out of the pocket. They can move around. And then, could he be the Tom Brady-ish 2.0? Maybe, if he keeps progressing in that manner. But I'm worried that he struggled in the championship game because he wasn't protected. And is he going to be protected with the Raiders? I know they got some money. I know they can get some guys in free agency, and maybe in the draft. But they're going to be young.
Yeah,
they're going to be the first year with them. Who's your receivers? Right? I mean, great receivers can help a young quarterback. Can he get in and out of the pocket? Can he step up into the pocket? I think the difference, like if you watch Matthew Stafford play, who is not a great athlete, but he's a good athlete. But he knows when to step up in the pocket, he has a good feel, when to get rid of the football. This young quarterback, can he progress in a positive manner while he's learning, while the team is trying to rebuild this culture? That's my question. Yeah. Or is he like Sam Darnold? Maybe he comes here and he doesn't work out the way he wants to work out, and he has to go to 2 more teams, and then he has to hit the reset button, and then he gets it.
But you liked his grit and toughness.
I love
16-0, first quarterback ever to do that, and beat unbelievable talent along the way, and he showed his skill set.
Yeah, listen, I like all gritty quarterbacks. Guys who get hit and can get back up and keep on moving. I got much respect for that. My only question mark would be, can he do it in a landscape where these guys, this is the best of the best of the best in the world playing. All these guys are big, fast, strong. And can he keep learning and keep his head on the right manner and not find himself in a fishbowl where he's the weak link of the Raiders? And then sometimes guys can shrink with that. And some guys can blossom with that. Right. So it's yet to be seen. I'm just a little nervous for him, being in that situation, hoping that he can overcome all the obstacles that can come with it, because he's going to be the #1 overall pick, and every Raider around the country, around the world, is saying, "This is our savior." And then if he's not, he's going to hear it in week 10, right, or week 8, if he's not playing the way they think he should play, and can he handle it?
Well, I'm going to push back on a couple things. First off, if you're the #1 pick overall, you normally go to the worst team in the league. Yep. Even though you might not be the worst team, you have the worst record. There were 3 or 4 teams that won 4 games last year that went to the playoffs. So for the Raiders, they can't afford to mess this pick up. Yep. And the thing that I'm thinking about, I've been talking about, you got to take him, because if you trade out of that pick and you get a bunch of other picks and you don't draft those guys right, and you say you get 4 picks and 2 out of the 4 aren't good, then you lost out on Mendoza.
So my question would be, which is a more important pick? Mendoza or the head coach?
That's good.
Yeah, Jay. You get Mendoza and you get a terrible head coach and he brings in a bad staff, I don't care what he is. This kid's going to be thrown to the wolves. So it's first, you better get a solid head coach with a solid coaching staff that can feed into him, but all the players and all the guys on your staff, all the players on the roster, that they can collectively learn together. Then the Raiders, the old Raiders that we know about and we love, that Raiders can come back. But if they don't get the head coach right, man, I don't care who they pick. It's going to be a long time for them to get back to the winning ways. I know they got Tom Brady. He got 7 rings. But you got to get the head coach right. You have to get him right. You can't tell me it's going to be Mendoza and whatever coach you give him, he's going to make him good. That's not true.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's going to be an offensive play caller. Great segue. The team you work with, the Baltimore Ravens, Jesse Minter.
Yep.
You know a little bit about him. Tell me why you think this is a good fit for Baltimore.
Well, first of all, he's been there, right? He coached under John, so he knows John's values, but he knows the whole organization, right? He knows Steve Bisciotti and what he means and what his values are. So to bring him in, because I thought it was going to be either him or Anthony Weaver, 2 ex-guys who are in the building, both one played, one coached. So I thought it was going to be one of those 2 guys. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he understands the culture, he understands the building. Now you got to put a good staff together. You got to put a good staff together, because the only difference of whatever staff is coming here to the Raiders and whatever staff is going to Baltimore has a standard that they want to happen. They want to see them play a certain way, and they have to have so many wins. Now, is Steve Bisciotti going to have some patience with him? Yes, he will. Okay, he gave him a 5-year deal, so he'll give him some patience. But they're going to have to start winning quickly, and I think Steve Bisciotti's that patience for Steve will wane if they go 7-10
with Lamar.
And 7-10 with Lamar and Derrick Henry back there, right? I think they need to add a couple more receivers. If they can do that, they need to add a defensive tackle, and they need to add some more speed, probably a linebacker.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I want to jump into another big topic. I think, just as a fan, Buffalo did Sean McDermott so dirty. That's the way I want to describe it. Terry Pegula had a press conference. I thought the press conference was a disaster with Brandon Beane. Disaster. They threw a player under the bus.
Yeah.
The owners interrupting the GM who became the president.
Right.
So with all of that happening, I want to begin with, how do you fire a coach after an overtime loss on the road where the officiating was suspect? How do you fire a coach?
Was it a catch? Yes. I mean, it's a catch in one game and not a catch in another game. Interception in one game, not an interception in another game. And you fire him off of that? Now, I don't know if he fired him off of that, if they fired him off the last 15 seconds or 13 seconds against KC a couple years ago, or the last 30 seconds of this past week's game where they came back and tried to move the ball down the field, which they had no timeouts. Should they took a knee? Probably should have took a knee. I don't know where when you make decisions that are emotionally ingrained into it, because he said, I came into the locker room and I saw all my guys distraught. Well, they're going to be distraught. They just lost a heartbreaking game. What do you think they're going to feel like in the locker room? They're going to be cheering and happy and glee? No, they're going to be distraught. So you got to remove yourself from that. So to me, it felt like they had a plan already. Like they had this planned out. Like whatever happened because they seen John Harbaugh, right? They seen Mike Tomlin, and in their minds it seemed like, hey, you know what? If we get rid of Sean, nobody's really going to say anything, because the other 2 coaches who are the most tenured coaches in the league, one in the postseason like us, they're gone too.
But you make a really good point. You've been in all these locker rooms after Super Bowl wins, after losses. The owner comes in. He sees the quarterback crying, not upset, crying. Different topic for a different podcast. Emotion's emotion.
Right.
obviously that's going to stay with the owner as he gets on that plane flight and he's going home and he's sitting in the front seat going, what did I just see in the locker room? My quarterback's crying.
But was he crying because he fumbled the ball a couple times? He underthrew his guy and got intercepted at the end of the game? What was he crying for? Like, you don't know. So unless he asked them that question and he gave him some type of answer, that to me you can't. And still, with that being said, you still need to leave the locker room with an open mind. Because, okay, which coach are you going to get that's better than Sean? Sean went to playoffs every single year except one, since he's been the head coach for the Buffalo Bills. And he has built that legacy back up of a solid program. And a new stadium getting ready to open up, and another coach gets to open it up. That to me, it just seems like it's a disservice to Sean McDermott what he's done for the Buffalo Bills the last several years.
That is a great point. McDermott watched that stadium get built from the first piece of steel that went there. He parked his car
right
a half a mile away and went to work at the old stadium.
Yeah.
And you don't let him open up the new stadium and walk into that on Monday night, Sunday night football,
right.
First ever game. Buffalo's got a new stadium and whack them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you get rid of, and I know Mike retired on his own accord, Mike Tomlin, they let John go, they let Sean McDermott go. Are you getting better coaches than those three? No. I mean, if you know, you're not going to get a better coach. Is Jesse Minter going to be a better coach and have a better record? Because that's what we're going to
judge him on.
We're going to judge him on that, right? So that's going to be yet to be seen. But the likelihood that he's going to have a better record than John in 17 years, he's not going to be there in 17 years. I mean, the landscape of the National Football League is 5, 6, 7. If you get to even Sean McDermott, that's a long time in the National Football League, 9 years, right? That's a long time. You just don't get to see that anymore because if you think about what Chuck Noll did. Chuck Noll had a losing record, 3 years in a row. Coaches are fired now.
100%.
Coaches are fired
Chuck
now.
Noll is fired. Jimmy Johnson is fired in this new NFL.
But then they come back the following year after that, won more games, get some back-to-back Super Bowls after that.
When we come back on Lay in the Wood, we start with the AFC Championship game. New England travels to Denver. Bo Nix is out of the game. We'll get to that coming up. All right, everybody, welcome back to Lay in the Wood. Please hit subscribe and like. We appreciate you coming back. We're going to get to the AFC Championship game, and let's jump in, Rod, and start off with a matchup that I never imagined could be possible. 4-win Patriot team,
right.
A Denver team that started a rebuild when Sean took over, got rid of Russell Wilson. Let's start with the Patriots and what you like with Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniel, and getting Drake May to the spot where they can win on the road. You know what?
Drake May is a better athlete than I thought he was. He can get in and out of the pocket. He can use his feet, make plays with his feet. And that puts a lot of pressure on the defense because you can do everything right defensively, and he can get out of the pocket and make a first down with his feet, and that causes havoc to the defense. But what I think more so than anything, what Vrabel has done to the franchise is to bring a tough mindset because they're a tough, gritty group. That's the way he played, right? He's an old linebacker. And old linebackers, that's the way they're going to teach. They're going to teach kind of how they kind of grew up through the game, right? And to me, so I think that is one. Mm-hmm. And secondly, I think outside of Kyle Shanahan, I think Josh McDaniels as a play caller is one of the best play callers in the National Football League. So he talking about May gets a play caller who helped teach Brady, right? And now he comes back and he's teaching this young quarterback all the tricks of the trade and how to read the defenses. And the kid has played well. Now, I know he played pretty good, didn't play his best football, but the way he's played collectively throughout the year has been amazing. Now, on the road, these guys are 8-0 on the road. So they take a tough mindset. And it's hard to win on the road in the National Football League. So being 8-0 on the road in the National Football League lets you know that they're going to take a tough, gritty football team stop the run, get the pressure on the quarterback. And our quarterback, Drake May has done a really good job of taking care of the football and finding his receivers.
Yeah, he checks down when he needs to.
Yes.
You mentioned how he runs, and he's got a really good deep ball
yes.
when he has to throw that. But the schedule, we were talking about it, against 500 teams. They feasted on one of the easiest schedules in NFL history to a championship game. And you played the game, you play who's in front of you, and instead of running into a buzzsaw in the AFC Championship game on the road, they're running into Jarrett Stidham. So they're kind of getting a break there.
Yeah, but they're going against a good defense now.
Yeah.
Now listen, 68 sacks in a regular season, that's crazy.
It is.
That's a lot of sacks. So to think it's going to be a cakewalk because Bo Nix is not there would be laughable. Now, they are 8-0 on the road, but they're 3-2 versus 500-plus teams during the regular season. So better teams that they play against. Now, how good does Stidham play? The last time he played was 2023.
Yeah.
But he averaged, in the 2 games that he played then, he averaged 248 passing yards per game. He
had a great game at Allegiant Stadium against the 49ers where he made every throw he ran. He was outstanding. Well, when I look at this game, there's a big difference between Jarrett Stidham and John Elway, Jarrett Stidham and Joe Montana.
Yeah.
There isn't a big difference between Jarrett Stidham and Bo Nix. Bo Nix is a good young quarterback. Jarrett Stidham's a good young quarterback. There's not a divide. So you know Sean, and I love the coaching matchups. You got Josh McDaniels, Mike Vrabel, Sean Payton, and Van Joseph.
Yeah.
Who's going to be a head coach maybe in this cycle. So walk me through what Sean's thinking about Vrabel. When Sean's on the whiteboard this week and in the meetings, what is he telling his offensive line and his whole team about we're going up against a Vrabel team, this is how we got to win the game?
I mean, if you pay attention to what Vrabel's defense has been doing, especially, they're aggressive. They crowd the line of scrimmage. You're going to have to make them play. You're going to have to take some shots down the field against them. Hopefully you can have enough time to get those shots down the field. And, when you think about Stidham over Bo Nix was a really good scrambler. I don't know if Stidham is that type of scrambler, but I know he can get out of the pocket and do some damage with his feet. So that's the one thing that makes me a little cautious about a guy who's coming in, playing against a defense who is kind of playing decent football right now, talking about the Pats defense. I just think Vrabel's going to crowd the line, take away the run game, which has been not great for the Denver Broncos. They had the most passing attempts this year in 2025 of all the teams in the National Football League. So I tell you, they're not overly great at running the football consistently. And when a defense knows that, what are they going to do? They're going to crowd the line, and they're going to say, throw the football down the field with your backup quarterback. Sutton needs to have a huge game. He needs to show up big for him, and they need to highlight him, put him on the opposite side. Dude's a big corner, right? Yeah. Will they put Gonzalez over there? Probably so. But then that'd be a great matchup to watch. To see, if you put Sutton over there with Gonzalez, who can win that one-on-one consistently throughout the whole game?
You had one of your greatest individual plays of your career for the Raiders at Denver, your famous pick that turned the Raiders season around. Just tell our viewers and listeners what's different about Mile High. What's different about it, especially in the atmosphere?
That air is thin. After I ran that 98 yards back, I was on the sideline with some oxygen, and I always thought myself as being in really good shape.
Right.
But that run made me realize, there's not a lot of oxygen up here. So you got to really, you train up there. No wonder all the trainers and people who go and train in altitude can come back down at sea level and just kill people, crush it. So to me, I think the biggest thing is this: the oxygen is thin. So I think the rotations for this game for the Pats is going to be critical. Getting all their guys, making sure they're all their skill players, especially the receivers, because those are the guys that are coming in and out. Those guys are getting enough rest per time on the sideline that they need to come out and make some big plays.
All right, Patriots are on the road, a 4.5-point favorite. If Bo Nix was playing in this game, and I think Bo Nix is prone for mistakes and to have a bad game, I would have picked the Broncos to win this game. I would have picked them straight up. I can't do it. I'm leaning towards the Patriots because I have to go there. I mean, I'm the last guy who wants to get on the Patriot bandwagon. I'm not going to get on their bandwagon, but to see the Patriots in another Super Bowl where everyone from Boston's going to fly out west because they got the money to do it and take over San Francisco. I don't need to see that. It's going to happen because they catch a big break.
You know what? I'm with the Orange Crush 3.0. They had 60-plus sacks regular season. They gave up during the regular season only 18.3 points a game. They're not hurt. All them dudes playing. And Drake May and the offense has been inconsistent, to say the least, so far in the playoffs. Going up there, I know still, but you know what? Every quarterback, every player that plays on a roster in the National Football League has skills.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is have one good game.
Well, Sean went and got him and said his quote was, "We got a backup who's inside the 32," which means he thought his backup. He took him from the Raiders because he paid him.
Right.
And he thinks when he got him, he was better than the 32 starters. He was somewhere in there.
Somewhere in that mix.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. So you want that backup quarterback, that relaxed feel like, okay, I can still have my whole game plan. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when you look at Peyton, he is a really good play caller. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I can't wait.
But I just think I'm a fan of defense, and I know our 2000 defense in Baltimore, are they that good? Not that good, but they're really, really good. And I think, can this defense propel this team into the Super Bowl? I think they can, because they have they got front end, back end, linebacker. They all can run. They're all big. They're all physical.
But Houston,
I'm a fan.
But Houston couldn't do that. You were talking about Houston's defense.
That is true. That is true.
C.J. Stroud had one of
them. C.J. Stroud.
Oh.
You know you're driving and then it's really dark outside and you see a deer because your lights hit his eyes and it goes like that. That's what Stroud looked like the whole game. And I was like, I felt bad for him because he didn't look like that last year. So however he regressed for the most part, even though they played better the last part of the season, I was just really disappointed in how he played in that game because he seemed like he was nervous. He was getting rid of the football. He was trying to throw it in tight windows. He was trying to throw it while he's getting hit. And that's everything that you shouldn't do as a quarterback in the National Football League.
Yeah, I think he's regressed a bit. When we come back, our NFC Championship game preview as we wrap it up on the other side on Lay in the Wood. Welcome back. We're wrapping it up on Lay in the Wood. JT along with Rod Woodson. We get to the NFC Championship game, the 12-5 Rams at the 14-3 Seahawks. Seahawks 6-2 at home this year. Rams 5-4 on the road. Seahawks a 2.5-point favorite at home. You get 3 for being at home. It's kind of a pick'em game. Rod, here's my first hot take, is that the Rams had to go to Carolina.
Yep.
That was a tough game. They needed a pinpoint throw to win it. A lot of travel. They went to Chicago. A lot of travel and weather.
Yep.
Extreme weather when they got there.
Yep.
It's not easy to go to Seattle, you know that, but a little bit less travel to a team they're much more familiar with. How does this help the Rams prepare for the Seahawks?
I mean, I like it because when we won our Super Bowl, we had a game at home, and then our 2 games are on the road. So good defenses, which I think the Rams have a good defense, but the Ram has a really good offense. And it's the number 1 scoring offense going up against number 1 scoring defense this week. That's going to be fun. And the last time Matthew Stafford went up there, he carved him up.
Yeah, he did.
Now, I know he didn't play well last week, you know, but you look at it and go, if any quarterback in the postseason can have big games, big games, it'd be Matthew Stafford because he's seen it all. He's been there. He's done it. He's not going to surprise him. Right. That's one thing I like about me being comfortable with the Rams going up there and winning the game, even though I like what McDonald has done. He has done a great job so quickly. It's a huge turnaround for this football team. And you see how hard they play. It just reminds me of how hard the Baltimore Ravens defense was playing when Mike McDonald was over there as a DC. So to me, it's going to be a fun game. But I think at the end of the day, if Matthew Stafford can go out there and run the football halfway decent with their 1-2 punch that they do have, you don't have Chardonnay, right? You do have Walker still, who he did have a pretty good game against them, right, in Week 16. But not having that 1-2 punch. So now the question is, how much weight can Walker take on his own?
Sure.
Right? But to me, Matthew Stafford going on the road with a solid defense, I'm liking the road team.
I am not. I love Seattle in the spot, but I don't know what I'm getting with Sam Darnold. I've gotten good play out of him.
Yes.
He exercised his ghost.
Yes.
And he played injured that last game.
Yeah.
He was questionable.
Yeah.
An hour before that game, the media's on the sideline going, is this guy in warm-ups going to be able to play?
But think about it. The 2 games they played against, he's thrown 6 interceptions.
Yeah, that's what worries me with him. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if he's going to see ghost one time. That one pick will be in the fourth quarter when they're down 3 and they're trying to win, and it ends the game. Kind of like the pick that we saw. We saw a lot of big plays over the course of the year here, but when you throw that pick like Carson Beck threw, he had Miami going, he throws that pick, and you're like, ooh, they could have won the game. Listen to this. Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah.
He's got almost identical stats to Puka. I mean, 1,715 yards for Puka, 1,793 for Smith and Jigba. Smith and Jigba, 10 touchdowns, Puka 10. I mean, identical. 2 elite wide receivers in this game, and I think both defenses are going to have to double them and try to take them out of the game.
I hope so. But nobody does. Nobody does anything with the elite receivers, and these are the 2 best receivers in the National Football League, by far. These are the 2, and 2 different styles, right? One big physical receiver and one quick receiver that can get vertical, right? Even though Puka can't get vertical, but this is a bigger guy, right? 2 different styles. They both work in the National Football League. When you have great athletes and good performers on a week in and week out basis, you find ways to get them the ball. Defensively, the problem I have is that you let them week in and week out the best. Okay, listen, Puka, I know you got Adams on the other side. I get it. Jigba, I'm rolling coverage to you. Now we used to call it stuff. So you're going to stuff the number. So we're going to roll up to that number, whatever that number might be, right? 11, 12, whatever one it is. We're rolling up to this side. You are not going to have a free day and free lunch. We can't do it every single down, but we're going to do quite a bit, and then we're going to show like we're doing it sometimes and go the other different way. So for me, can the defense coordinators have some creativity, for crying out loud? That to me, how do you know these guys are the best receivers in the league? You know Puka's favorite route, deep in cut.
So I got to follow up with this. This is why you watch and listen. So with Dick LeBeau, and when you were with the Ravens and all the coaches you've had, a lot of people give Belichick more credit for that. Belichick's going to take the one best player out of the game.
Right.
You were doing that before Belichick was doing that with the Patriots. So who deserves credit historically with the concept of we're going to take this one guy out and you're going to have to beat us with someone else?
Belichick just did it where he was bracketing receivers, right? I mean, you see him have 2 guys on a receiver like he's bracketing the gunner on a punt team. That we've never seen before. But we've always seen defenses roll to the receivers, right, to the best receivers. I mean, they're really good coordinators. Always said, okay, first read, second read, we're taking those away. You got to find a third read. And by that time, we're going to sack you. Those are the best defensive coordinators in the National Football League in the history of the league. And Belichick was one of them. Dick LeBeau was one of them. All those guys are in that category, all had that same idea. At least, hey, listen, we're not going to let your best receiver go off on us, and we have no answer at all.
What about McVay versus McDonald, the coaching matchups? We got into it with Vrabel. This is a good one, too.
That's a good one.
I'm really into the trees, as we've been talking about. Another side point here. You have 3 to 4 coaches in this game, getting considered for head coaching jobs as young coaches. So the reason why all these other teams, Cleveland, the Raiders, Buffalo, everybody's waiting around is for these coaches to finish this game to get that other interview going here again. So I think the coaching matchup in this game, I still believe Sean McVay is the best coach in football, young in his prime and his tree. But, man, McDonald's proved a lot to me. I didn't think he was this good, Rod, this early in his career as a coach.
This is what I would say about Mike Macdonald. Mike Macdonald allows his players to believe the person they see in the mirror. Because they didn't overhaul the roster when he got there. They just made slight improvements, right? In doing that, he's allowed these guys, their defense plays fast and physical.
Yeah, they do.
They play like the old Ravens, right? And that's how they play. And that's how the old Legion of Boom. They play like that again, right? And for me, though, offensively, McVay has I think obviously the most seasoned quarterback in the postseason, and he should be the league MVP. That's not even a question if he is. I'm just hoping that the voters give it to him and not give it to somebody. I know everybody's talking about Drake May and all that, but I'm like, the way he played during the regular, because it's for the regular season, it's not for the postseason, it's for the regular season. The dude played lights out football. And listen, I didn't think Matthew Stafford was going to play this well.
I didn't either.
This late in his career, but the only reason they're here is because Matthew Stafford has been lighting up defenses all year long.
In the preseason, when Stafford was sitting out for back spasms, I remember sitting down going on radio, this guy's not going to make it through the year. Or they're going to have to shut him down. They're going to have to load manage him like an NBA player. Couldn't have been more wrong. What a great year. So I'm going to go with Seattle in this game. They're home. This is a war between both of them. If they don't win, I think Devontae Adams is going to be the difference because Puka is going to kind of be doubled. But I just love the special team. Seattle opened up against the Niners. They crushed the Niners. What they open up with, kickoff return. I'm not saying they're going to get one in this game. I just think dotting the I's, crossing the T's on defense, O-line, everything they're doing will be enough to win a really tight game. And I told Rod before we started today on Laying the Wood, I think the NFC Championship game is the Super Bowl. I do not see New England, and I definitely don't see Denver with Jared Stidham beating the Rams or the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. So I think the winner of this game wins the Super Bowl.
I like the road team. I like the Rams. I mean, I like underdogs. I think the defense is solid, or is good enough to go against Seattle offense. And I know both defenses are really good, but I think the way Matthew Stafford has played this year, and I know he was inconsistent last week in the cooler weather, but man, he didn't throw the ball the way he threw the ball in previous weeks. It's not going to be that cold up in Seattle. I wouldn't. Hopefully not. And hopefully it's not real windy. And if it's not, he's going to light them up. I like the road team. I like them Rams, man.
Rod's going Rams. I'm going Seahawks. Thanks for joining us. You can play program director. Leave a comment, please. Tell us what you'd like to see more of, because we're going to be able to do something similar to this, maybe a little bit shorter, from the Super Bowl, from Radio Row. We're both going to be up there. Thanks for tuning in once again to Laying the Wood.